Hey everyone, Mahmoud here. So I was going to do a video on YouTube for YouTube about my thoughts on the PTS server and the swap abilities that we had during this weekend. But I end up doing a really good engagement with my viewers during my stream about this same subject. So what I end up doing was editing part of that stream and getting on this video basically our conversation about the subject. So I hope you guys enjoy this way of doing this video instead of me creating really a concrete video on YouTube, just taking something that happened during my stream. So the reactions are going to be less polish, let's say like that, and also a good way for you guys to see I think what is going to be a different opinion from what majority of everyone is thinking or saying, because majority of people are focusing on what skills are OP, not OP, and not properly the way I'm seeing this question. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this type of video and see you guys next time. Bye bye. A wrong idea. So TJ, guys, after this we go PTS. Let me just get this argument here to TJ. These units, okay? Tier 8 barbarians. Like these tier 8 swordsman barbarian are a nightmare to play, for example, compared to the tier 7. Because one of the big reasons is the chosen ally skill. Because we have chosen ally instead of, for example, in the tier 7 with the girls, instead of having the slam. This is one of the big difference, because chosen allies compared to the slam chosen ally is a trash skill. Like there isn't anyone that has like only two brain cells. You only need to have two brain cells and only one of them really working properly to go to this unit and say like this, okay, instead of having chosen ally, instead of having slam, I prefer to have chosen ally. I say again, no one is going to do that choice on tier 8 swordsman. So what is happening now with the change, with the swap of abilities, and that is what I think is the wrong mentality that is happening at the moment, and that is why I like these swap abilities for me are going in the wrong, is why we don't do the other way around. For example, tech tree. Let's come here to tech tree. Barbarians, swordsman. And for example, why don't we do a tech tree here? For example, when we reach tier 8, do another line here with swordsman, do another line here with swordsman, and go like this. This line, for example, keeps the slam, it keeps the charges, keep skills that are pure aggression. Then, for example, why don't we take this skill instead of a 50-second buff where you can give 10 melee attack, more 10% melee attack to yourself or to an ally? Why we don't make this skill, for example, the duration of, let's imagine 5 seconds, because now we need to test what I'm going to say. We need to test, so please just take this as sake of arguments. Like for example 5 or 8 seconds, instead of more 10% melee attack to the unit himself, it can give more, for example, more 50%, more 50% melee attack, or for example to an ally unit it can give a buff of more 25% melee attack. TJ, now let me do this question. Are you going to remove choose an ally and still choose slam? Or if you do the way that I'm thinking, are you going here to the tech tree? And instead, for example, if you want to play a more supportive unit, instead of going with the slam ability and whatever abilities that are totally for the offensive when you are playing solo, instead of that you go and take a second line and you go, for example, for the more supportive unit with the barbarian units. That is what I think is wrong with mentality of the swap. Basically what we are saying with swamp is, okay, that skill is bad, that skill is trash. Let's give the players an option to simply get rid of that trash skill and go for a decent skill. Here's here. So what I would do in this case is get the skills better, get the trash skills better, give me a reason to play with the trash skills, get that skills better, and do different lines of that unit. Do a unit that is more for support, do a unit that is more for aggression. Let people play their way. Give me a reason that, for example, with the example that I give from Choose an Ally, let's imagine that Choose an Ally, I can give a buff of 25% melee attack to my ally units. Let's imagine that I only have 2-3 units in a full legion of barbarians. I know that they are not colored legions, but just for you guys to understand what I'm talking. Let's imagine a full legion of barbarian units. I only have 2-3 units alive. They are like one farp to the guys, and they simply root because their morale is basically 0. Give me a skill that I can use with that 2-3 units to buff and to support my team so I don't give up on the game. And one excellent example that we can give of that is Scipio. Because when you are playing with Scipio, one of the abilities that you have as a general is Warcry. Like Warcry tier 10, why the fuck don't I have Scipio fully upgraded, if I may ask? Okay, I have fully upgraded, but I think is not at the moment. But yeah, it's fully upgraded because last 20% melee defense, the last 10% movement speed that you have now on this patch, and more important, the last 35 morale. For any player with experience, the moment that you use that Warcry, even if you have one single cover unit alive, just one single cover unit alive, and you use that skill with Warcry, with that single cover unit alive, and then you run away, you keep that unit alive, and then you use again, you can win games just with that, just with the support role that you can do. Basically, TJ, that is my opinion. I don't agree with the fact that you can get, for example, and I think this is totally stupid, the fact that you can come here and get, I come here and, for example, I have Vicious Strikes. Why the fuck would I play with Vicious Strikes when I can get Hamstring? Like, between Hamstring and Vicious Strikes, there are no doubts. Hamstring is a better skill than Vicious Strikes. Now, what we can put in question is Vicious Strikes better, for example, than, where is it? Vicious Strikes, no. Oh, I don't have. Really? We don't have? Because I was going to use the Carthaginian, I was going to use the Carthaginian Swordsman with Air Slash. Like, give me an option between Slash and Vicious Strikes, and I prefer Slash because I believe that Slash is a more powerful skill. But when you give me Hamstring, that is a skill from a specific unit, that is the Fox, and it's a skill that belongs to the Barbarian. Like, I don't agree with that. I think that is wrong. And basically that is why I think that my opinion is basically totally different from everyone else, everyone else about this test here on PTS. But like I was saying, is it really wrong for a player to go full specialization in a single faction? Let's imagine, for example, that I only want to play Barbarian. Is that really wrong from me to only want to play Barbarian and not want to take care of the rest? Because one of the things that I think that people are forgetting at the moment is that you guys only have 4 factions at the moment. Greeks, Romans, Barbarian, Carthaginians. Now, answer me this question. When we have Egyptians, if Egyptians are coming, I don't know, but let's imagine that Egyptians are coming. Let's imagine that the Persians are coming. Let's imagine that the Japanese, like they have talked about before, and I had the idea that the next faction that was going to come out was Japanese, but after all is not. Now let's imagine that we also have the Japanese. So that is more three factions. Let's imagine that you have like the English, like some other type of barbarian units from the English faction. So like now we have 8 factions. Can you imagine the bullshit they are going to have trying to to get every single skill decently balanced, to be able to play with the Roman, with the Carthaginian, with the, like, holy fuck me, man. Freelance. Like, I understand, like, I agree, I understand what you just said right now. But you can learn the basics of the units on two ways. First, you keep playing against them. You keep playing against them, and then you start understanding what the units are able to do. Like, three ways. Second way, you watch streamers like myself. I'm the guy that plays everything on this fucking game. And you watch streamers like myself, and you are able to understand what the units that you normally don't play are able to do or not to do. Or you go and see a streamer that, for example, only focus on Romans when you want to learn about Romans. Or you go and only check a streamer that only play with barbarians, that normally only play with barbarians when you want to learn the ins and outs of our barbarian units. Or you have the third option, that you play with every single faction till tier 5, tier 6, and it's not hard to get units to tier 5, tier 6, just for you to have a feeling of the generals, a feeling of the abilities, and then you stop. Because you have a lot of skills, that if you want to choose them, you need to have the tier 9, the tier, like, some you only have to have the tier 4 and tier 5 units. Others, you have to have the tier 9 and tier 10 units to be able to unlock their skill. Do you know how hard it is for you to go tier 9, tier 10, tier 7, tier 8 with a unit that you do not enjoy playing? But for example, one of the things that I find, one of the things that I think is going to happen, and it is this one, Deadly Arrest, okay? This charge belongs to the tier 9 Barbarian Cavalry, right? And this charge has 60% movement speed, 50% acceleration, 10% charge impact, 10% impact damage, and then silence. This silence is what every single fucking charge on this game gets, is a silence. Now, let's take this and get, for example, the normal charge. What is the normal charge? This one. This is normal charge. 50% movement speed, 10% acceleration, silence. Between one and the other, which charge are you guys going to get? Basically, what the game is telling to every single player on this game is, guys, get the tier. And by the way, before you think that the cooldown is much bigger, no, this guy has a cooldown of 18 seconds, 3 seconds duration. The normal rest has a cooldown of 18 seconds, 3 seconds duration. Exactly the same shit, okay? So basically what the game is telling every single player, what the devs are telling is, guys, get the tier 9 Barbarian Cavalry. It doesn't matter if you don't like to play with cavalry. Let's imagine I don't like to play with cavalry. I don't care. Play with fucking cavalry, because you are going to have to get Deadly Arrest. Deadly Arrest is the best charge that you have in the game. So get it. I don't care. Because the moment that you are going to play with a clan in the future, when the clans are up, what your clan, if it is a decent clan, is going to tell you is like that. Dude, do you have Deadly Arrest on your units? No, because I don't play with cavalry. I don't enjoy playing with cavalry. Fuck yourself. Get me Deadly Arrest. Get the tier 9 Barbarian Cavalry and get me Deadly Arrest. So what are you going to do, or what is a lot of players going to do? They are going to enter the game, they are going to suicide their cavalry, and then they are going to play the unit they enjoy. They are going on the next game, enter with the cavalry unit that they don't enjoy play, they are going to suicide their cavalry, and then they are going to play again with the unit they enjoy. And that is going to fuck the matchmaking for everyone. Low end, I'm not saying everyone is going to suicide. What I'm saying is that you are going to have a good number of people. And when I'm saying a good number of people, you are going to have like 20% of the community, 30% of the community. And I don't have any problem saying these numbers because that is my experience from World of Tanks. I have seen that in World of Tanks. 20% to 30% of the community is just suiciding, just pushing forward. They just push forward, they do one shot, two shots, one shot. Every single enemy tank just kill them and okay, next game. And Tectobic and Low End, if you guys played that game, I'm quite sure you see that all the fucking time. But low end, that is a suicider. Doing that, you are a suicider. Simple as that.
I will do what must be done.
Now, if they already do that with the daily double, and even more when it is 500%, imagine when you are making the players playing units they do not enjoy. TJ, okay, then you are basically saying the same thing as I said, but the other way around. For one unit to be shitty means that there is another unit that is good. For a good for a skill For a skill unit to be shitty means that there is a skill unit that is good. For a skill unit to be good, that means that there is a skill unit that is shitty. Because if you get, let me do the other, exactly the same example I was saying. Choose an allies. Instead of giving you a buff of more 10% melee attack, let's imagine that skill gives you a buff of 150% melee attack to you and to your ally units. Then I can tell you one thing. Snipe is a shitty skill compared to that one. What I mean, and what I was trying to say is, there are skills that are worse than others, there are skills that are better than others, and the skills that at that moment are better, people are going to get. That is why I gave you guys also the example of the charge. The tier 9 from the charge from the cavalry units is better than the normal arrests. So between having the normal arrests or having the tier 9 cavalry barbarian unit arrests, people are going to choose that one over the normal arrests because it is indeed a better skill. Now make the normal arrests have different states, but compared wise they are basically the same thing. Like one skill is best to do one thing, the other skill is best to do another type of charge in a different type of engagement. Then what you are giving to the player is, okay, I have two skills. Now what is my play style? Do I want to play with this charge and do this type of play style, or do I want to take the other charge that I need to engage in a different way? What is my play style? Here I have a choice. Now, the moment that you give me a skill that has superior speed, superior impact, superior melee damage, superior, I don't know which one was the fourth skill, and then you give me a skill that has less impact, less speed, and just 10 impact damage, and if I'm not mistaken, impact damage is even inferior to this one. This is not a choice. This skill is trash, take away. This skill is good, give me. It's not a choice. That is what I'm trying to say.